I'm on the highway and there is snow on the ground, obviously. I am currently on my way to Marion once again. Unlike last time, there is a specific goal at play that I'm trying to achieve today, and that is why I'm driving up here. So I have about 10 minutes left, so I'll go ahead and cut back to you guys once I get there. Alrighty folks, I have arrived. The action pretty much started almost immediately, so I couldn't do my regular intro, but I am here. Unfortunately, I've been told that there's a derailment on the Mount Victory subdivision, so we might not see too many trains on it, aside from the one that just went by. And the goal that I set out to accomplish is currently sitting on the transfer track over here. Yep. Your eyes are not deceiving you. That is a high hood. So I'm going to go ahead and get some pictures of this engine, and we might see it work today, but we'll just have to see as the day progresses. So stay tuned. Yeah, M277 pretty much spoiled the surprise for you guys, but yes, a former Southern Railway GP38-2 high hood has been assigned to the L38 local and has been doing so for about 2 weeks now. Southern Railway and the Norfolk and Western Railway were pretty much the only two Class 1 railroads that were still ordering locomotives back in the day with high short hoods, long after everybody else have adopted the low nose design from EMD. 5036 has pretty much kept its original form despite being built over 54 years ago. This GP38-2 hasn't seen too many changes with its 54-year lifespan, aside from a couple repaints with its current owner, Norfolk Southern, in addition to some PTC equipment on the roof of the cab, as evident by these detailed pictures that I took while it was sitting on the transfer track. After watching the M277 from earlier and taking the detail photos of 5036, the Sandusky district would light up and pretty much remain busy the entire time I was there. Starting with northbound Manifest 117 on its daily in-state journey between Watkins Yard in Columbus, Ohio, and Wick Mormon Yard in Bellevue, Ohio. was shown rather quickly that I would need to keep my head on a swivel because less than 5 minutes after the 117 made its way north, a mysterious grain train would make its way south, and I would get this one from the tower.
Turns out we're going to see the high hood work after all because the crew's hopping on right now as we speak.
Not wanting to interrupt the sound of an EMD 645 throttling up, once the crew boarded the 5036, they would then make their way to the yard north of the station to do some switching, and we won't see them till much later on in the afternoon. Shortly afterward, another northbound would make its way through on the Sandusky district. I didn't get the symbol of this mixed freight train, but I have reason to believe it's either 178 or 119, with a neat surprise trailing second today. Trailing second on this mystery mixed freight train was another GP38-2, but unlike the 5036, 5321 has a short hood, lineage to Conrail, and the older thoroughbred paint scheme, which is now only exclusive to yard engines or road engines that either got a hood swap or vandalization of the paint scheme. Sandusky district just kept on popping as another southbound would appear, this time being the highest priority train on the Sandusky district, NS Intermodal 28N, on its daily journey between Chicago, Illinois and Charlotte, North Carolina, with Amazon Prime, UPS containers, and UPS trailers. Despite suffering a derailment today on the Mount Victory subdivision, something interesting would happen around noontime when not one, but two trains showed up on the Mount Victory subdivision. The train on the closest track is CSX's highest priority train that comes through here, Intermodal I-008, on its daily journey between Rose Lake, Illinois and Syracuse, New York. The train on the far track would be an eastbound local bound for Industries just east of Marion, which unfortunately this train ended up getting blocked by I-008, which is kind of a shame because a good friend of mine was the conductor on this train today. on the docket for the Sandusky District today was a very late NS-267, the run-through BNSF intermodal train that runs on a daily basis out of Rickenbacker Yard in Columbus, Ohio, for Kohler Yard in Hammond, Indiana to be handed back to the BNSF. After the mid-train DPU of 267 passed me, something interesting was in store for me as 267 was making its way northbound up the Sandusky District. Southbound Manifest Train 179 would round the corner and pass me here on its daily journey between Bellevue, Ohio, and Irondale, Alabama with its mixed freight commerce. After the meeting of 267 and 179, I would then make my way to the small yard north of the station on the Sandusky District in hopes of seeing the high hood actually working. I would be successful in doing so as I would watch 5036 pull out of the yard and back onto the main line. These locomotives are intended to be ran long hood forward, however that doesn't happen that much anymore as evident by the engineer facing the wrong way inside the cab of the 5036. Now at this point you might be thinking that this would be the end of my trip, right? Well, you would be wrong. As I was about to cross the Sandusky District, I would notice that 5036 was sitting on the main and getting ready to leave, and I would end up getting one more shot of them as they were crossing the diamonds as they would make their way to Waldo, Ohio to serve the industrial park in that small town.
Now this is the official end of this quest for that high hood. And with it going off to serve the local industries down in Waldo, this is where we now conclude yet another video. If you enjoyed it, feel free to leave a like or a comment down below to share your thoughts. Subscribe if you're new, and tap the notifications bell if you want to be notified when a new video gets posted here on the channel just like this. Until next time, this is All Ohio Rail Fan, signing off.